My name is Lauren, I'm 26 years old and I've been a client of Dave's for 9 months now. Cool, so my relationship with food, I would say, was a bit wonky, if that's a fair thing to say. I sort of had this idea that food was like the demon, so it was sort of a relationship of like being very, very restrictive and only eating egg whites and chicken and broccoli for 6 months and then having like fat binges on the weekends and stuffing my face with like a whole Roman's pizza and things like that. So it was sort of like seesawing between extremes. In terms of my activity and things like that, I was extremely afraid to step foot in a gym. I would literally get like slightly anxious about like going anywhere near the doors or anything. So I eventually like coaxed myself into a gym, made my way onto a treadmill, and then like ventured from the treadmills to the circuits at the gyms, and then started moving like on towards the weight side of things. So I wouldn't say I was a very like active person or anything like that previously. So I was quite a sloth actually. So yeah. So what made me decide to sign up with Dave, I was actually very skeptical in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, about a few things. I was like, okay, I'm seeing all these like really skinny chicks and like these guys that are like super buff and ripped, and I mean like Dave looks the way he does, so I was like, okay, being someone that's like slightly more on the curvier side, if we want to label it like that, I was like, okay, they can eat the burgers and drink the Steri Stumpies, surely he's gonna be like, all right, but for you, maybe not so much, hey? So I was skeptical about that. And also I was like, sure, it's probably not, you probably need to be like really active to begin with and things like that. But then when I reached out to Dave and spoke to him, you could see that it wasn't about like where, like what your current fitness level is. Are you like an athlete of a certain experience or what size you are or anything like that? It was genuinely just about like working with where you are now and teaching you what you need to do to be able to move forward. So before that, I was sort of like calorie counting myself. But at the amount of food, I was like, Dave, I think this is too much, hey? And he was like, I think if he could have said what he wanted to, he would have been like, just shut up and do what I tell you. But so there is definitely a level of trust that you need to put into him. But yeah, I mean, you sort of just have to, you have to trust him and just kind of like go with it. But once you see your first photos from your first level of, from your first month, you kind of like, wow, okay, I'm still eating bread, I'm still eating pasta, I'm still eating the things that I enjoy. And this is what's happened. So it's sort of like a bit of a mind-blowing experience. So there have definitely been ups and downs. It has been a journey and a half. I'm sure Dave can also agree with me on that. Like I said, going from having this like background where there wasn't really much activity or anything like that to being in a gym for the first 3 months of the year and being able to train the way I wanted to and things like that, making awesome progress, and then lockdown happens and everything like that gets taken away from you. I was so nervous. I literally messaged Dave and I was like, what do we do now? Like, what now? I don't know what's going on. Like, how do we move forward from here? And Dave's always like very calm with me. He's always like, just relax, just breathe, we've got this. So there was definitely, and I mean, going from like being able to constantly work with weights and things like that, which I had become very comfortable now with, to now being taken completely out of your comfort zone and having to work out at home by yourself. There's nobody waiting for you at gym in the morning or anything like that, to now like literally have a full change. Like that was quite hectic and it was a big adjustment to make. But yeah, we got through it. I got through it. So with Dave's guidance, it was actually really good. I think I was probably the most diligent during lockdown than I had been at that stage. So now, sure, it's like a complete, if I compare myself back then to now, I would say it's quite a change. I definitely have a much better relationship with food. And I've been taught how to make healthier decisions as well. So I've been shown by Dave that you can still have the food that you enjoy. So whether it's asking for bacon every month or pasta or things like that, you can still work that into your diet and still have a healthy relationship and go, all right, if I feel like having a burger this weekend, this is what I need to do to be able to have a burger. So like not demonizing food, but still being able to enjoy it and have a healthy life. I think on the gym side of things, I've learned that I'm a lot more capable of things than what I give myself credit to. Even during lockdown, I'm not somebody that likes exercise where I have to jump around and like the aerobics type of things. And on one of my exercise plans, I had burpees, and I was like, oh, I flippin' hate burpees. Like, I really do. But I was just like, there's no one here. Nobody can see me do this. So let me just do it. And I remember sending Dave an email going, in the beginning of lockdown, I was struggling to get through 4 rounds of burpees. It's now a month later and I'm doing 6 rounds easily. And I was so excited. I was like, this is amazing. So for being somebody that didn't want to do 1 to then doing 6 rounds of 15, I was quite chuffed with myself. I think if I had to give anybody advice, and like if I had to give my past self advice, is just to not become complacent. You know, for myself as like a curvier girl or something like that, you sort of, there's a lot of body positivity and stuff out there nowadays, and you sort of look at that and go, all right, it's fine for me to look like this. But you sort of need to find the defining point between, are you letting social media dictate to you that it's fine for you to be overweight, but deep down inside you actually still flippin' hate the way you look, but because now there's a bunch of women telling you it's fine to look like this, you should be okay, that doesn't mean that you should. And if you're still like not enjoying the way you look, you should do something about it. Like, there's a difference between body positivity and loving the body that you're in, and the fact that you're not short or tall or have wide cheekbones or something like that, but your weight and your body and being body positive is not the same thing. And I think that was quite a lesson that I've learned over all of this, is that there's a difference between being positive about how you look and like caring about yourself and being complacent. So I think the advice that I would give is to try and define those lines and still appreciate yourself enough to want to take care of yourself. I think, and it's so difficult nowadays because like you've got these 2 extremes on social media where there's like these fitness bunnies that are running around like constantly like in gym wear and stuff like that, and then you've got the larger women that are like preaching body positivity. That's such a mouthful. But there's like no in between, and there's no one out there really that's like, you can still be body positive, but you can still want to look better, and you can still want to improve your health and improve how you feel about yourself as well. Like I said, if there's anyone out there that is looking at joining Dave's program and they're a skeptic like what I was, just try. Just sign up for like 1 month. This isn't like, I'm not being paid to say this or anything. Just try and see how it goes, and you'll see like it's so much easier. Like if somebody says to you, you can still eat chocolate and lose weight, why would you not want to do that? You know, like, so that's my thing, is I would say just try and see how it goes, and once you see the results and you feel how you feel, it's a no-brainer, really.
So that was a really, really awesome testimonial, different kind of testimony. I think the thing I liked that Lauren touched on was that, how she was saying, in the fitness industry, there is the extremes at the moment. There's the people who are really in shape all the time, which I'm probably guilty of being in that kind of clique, and the people who are, you know, preaching this body positivity. And you know, there's that gray area for where someone like Lauren, who wasn't active, where they kind of don't know what to do. I think they don't know where to take that first step. And like Lauren said, she's probably a little bit intimidated by myself and my clients, the ones that are maybe in shape already and then just look better. And I think the important thing to realize is, guys, that everyone has to start from somewhere. Everyone, myself included, I had to start from somewhere. So don't think that because now I'm advanced in my training, or you see a client of mine who was in shape and is in better shape, that somehow that I'm not going to be there to help people who are starting out and want to be better. That for me is the most rewarding thing, where someone who hasn't got this discipline in their life, hasn't got the consistency, hasn't got that activity in their life, and then you take them to a point where they are suddenly. I think also the nice thing that Lauren has portrayed is that, you know, if you're someone that is very active, that is very consistent, a body transformation can be a slightly smoother road for you, because you're used to being disciplined, you're used to being consistent. And now Lauren came from a point where it was kind of like a beginner, and she did have to navigate a lot of turns, a lot of struggles, and, you know, maybe things that she wasn't used to dealing with. You know, the way she was thinking, the way she was looking, being thrown into home workouts. There was a lot of things that, big curveballs that got thrown at her. And when you are going through a body transformation, you maybe aren't to the level of a very advanced person, you are going to get thrown these curveballs. And like you said, it's really important not to get complacent, to kind of take those lessons and learn from them, to adapt, to overcome them, because it's never going to be smooth sailing, never. And if you are someone that is a beginner or even advanced, you're going to be doing this for a long time to see great results. So there are going to be twists and turns on the way, guys. You cannot give up every time something gets thrown at you, because ultimately you're never going to get far then. You might, like all these things, do 8 weeks and then bomb out. You know, you've got to commit to a long-term process and realize that, how Lauren was saying, there's nothing wrong with wanting to improve. You can be happy with yourself right now, of course, but how I always felt is that if you are truly happy with yourself, you respect yourself so much that you want to continuously improve, not just your body composition, but your thoughts, your career, your energy levels. You know, that's what life's about. Continuously growing, learning, and just making it through life and obstacles.